To my living relatives, I hope you never get to experience what it's like to have to pack your few remaining belongings into your car, where you then have to live and sleep. I hope you never wake up in the middle of the night to see a man in a dark hoodie, cupping his eyes up against the window, peering in at you as you sleep. And if you do, I won't let you curse yourself for having left the windows cracked open just a little bit to try to cool the car because it got up to 100 degrees that day and you just want one night's sleep without sweating buckets. I hope your loved ones never reject you without explaining why you're not worthy of a roof over your head that will help you get your life back together. I hope you never have to pretend to be someone else just so that you can enjoy safety in numbers with other homeless people. I hope you don't lose your dignity when you go into the supermarket every morning and evening just to use the bathroom and have to put up with the looks of the employees who are disgusted by you. But most of all, I hope with all my heart that you understand that I never would have let any of that happen to you if you had been there first. And if you ever need me to help you through any of these things or anything like them, I will do my best because I don't want any of this to happen to you.
Could you imagine living in your car, somebody creeping at your window at 2 a.m, trying to see who's in there while you're trying to get a nice night of sleep? Hot as heck in the car, can't even relax, have to go in public places to use the bathroom, take showers and at gyms if you have membership. That's a tough one.
I am homeless living here in my car because, like a lot of Americans right now in this economy, I work full time and I don't make enough money to afford a place to live because rent is $1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment on average, and a lot of times it's more than that. So I live here in my car and I try to make it as comfortable as possible. I'm trying to start a cleaning business so that I can save up for an RV. Hopefully by next summer is my goal to buy the RV, but this past summer has been really rough and I haven't made the progress that I would like to. And now my car is having issues. It is losing coolant. I can't find the leak and I'm having to add coolant every other day. It was like once a week or every 10 days I was having to add a little bit of coolant, but now it's every couple days. So I need to get my car into the shop as soon as possible because I rely on my car for everything. So if you'd like to help, I have a GoFundMe in my link tree. Thank you guys.
This guy's working full-time job, still cannot afford rent. There was a report I seen the other day that said in order for you to live comfortably by yourself in America, you have to be making $120,000 plus a year, which is about $60 to $70 an hour. Who's making $60 to $70 an hour? Not the average American. So what we see here is just suppression. So it's not slavery by the sword, but slavery by the dollar.
Giving me no time to do
Y'all gotta
nothing.
get the fuck out of my crib. You had the baby. I let you do what you was gonna do. Time for you to go now. I didn't want to keep you out. I really wanted to keep you up while you was pregnant, but I couldn't do that to my grandbaby.
Okay, but you kicking us out now. So you should have just had this together. I would have been.
It's gonna be my work office. All this shit gotta go.
Dad, I would have been trying to figure something out then. What am I supposed to do?
My crib. Damn. You steady talking back. You're not listening.
I'm not talking back. I'm just telling you, Dad, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know where I'm gonna go. If I have to leave here, where am I gonna go?
Did you though?
What? What'd you say? What'd you just say?
You heard
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
You knew what you was doing. You was making that baby.
Okay.
So figure it the fuck out and get out my crib, man.
Okay.
I got shit to do. And I'm gonna leave, so I want you gone before I leave. Hurry up.
I'm not going nowhere. I don't have nowhere to go. That's what you're not understanding. Dad, I can't.
Baby dead yet. You can't go to his house?
I mean, pregnant at 16, there's no excuse. I mean, to let a man, you're old enough to let a man in between your legs at that age. You also have to be responsible and take accountability for what may come after that. So putting that burden on a dad, yes, it is unfortunate for her, but also she should have known better. And I think in a situation like this, it's when you have to now rely on the man to take care of you and your child. That's not the parent's responsibility.
It's been 6 weeks of living in my car. Here are some things that I've learned. Unexpected expenses. Like, for example, I spent $85 just on ice. 4 weeks, $85. What do you mean? $3 a bag. Wow. It would be cheaper just to have a fridge. Which brings me to other expenses that you just don't think about initially. At first I thought, oh, a cooler will be fine. No, I need a fridge. But in order to have a fridge, I have to have a power bank. Those are roughly between $300 and $500. And then for this winter, I'm gonna have to have some kind of awning to pull out so that I can cook without getting rained on. To have a heated blanket or some kind of heater for the car. That's like $1,000 worth of stuff. And it's things that if you're just car camping, you don't really need. But if you're going to live in your car full time and do it comfortably, there are a lot of unexpected expenses, and it can get very expensive very quickly. Also learned that sleeping is not like the big to-do that everybody kind of makes it out to be. People have a lot of fear around, oh my gosh, am I gonna find a safe place to sleep? There are websites and services now that you can pin safe places to sleep all over different locations. iOverlander is one of them. Also, if you're gonna stay in a place long-term, like in my general area, I drive around places that I like to frequent and I look for signs. Is there an 8-hour parking sign, a 72-hour parking sign, sometimes near marinas or other, places where people would leave their vehicles longer? There are legal places to park long-term, yet to be woken up by a cop. So sleeping has been like the lowest anxiety for me. Next is loneliness. So I watch a lot of other content creators that live in their vehicles, either van life, living in their car, and they mention loneliness. And I do agree that it can get lonely, but honestly, I felt pretty lonely whenever I lived in my apartment. The amount of loneliness that I experience is directly related to how much I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and socialize with others. If I'm out a little mom and pop shop out in the middle of nowhere, you can stop and talk to people. Campsites or state parks. The unfortunate thing is that you have to break the ice. It's gonna have to be you because the other people aren't gonna do it. But I can tell you the majority of times they would like somebody to talk to. So you really choose your loneliness. The thing that I feel like I've learned in the last 6 weeks is how present this kind of forces you to be. By living in your vehicle, you're kind of shrinking all of your possessions down, shrinking your focus on worldly things oftentimes down, left with just what's right in front of you. And it forces you to be very present in your environment in the moment. You appreciate nature more because it becomes your safe haven. You appreciate the meal that you cooked even more as you had to drag everything out to cook it. You know you're gonna have to drag everything back whenever you're done. Also, your water consumption, for example. You appreciate water so much more. Not having running water has made me appreciate and feel just like more present every time I take a shower or every time I get to fill up my water at a state park, something like that. I have such an appreciation for where my water comes from and just having it in general. And those are things that I just didn't fully appreciate until I had this experience. Next realization is that this car is just impossible to keep clean. Like I have to make peace, and anybody that's gonna live in their vehicle has to make peace with that. I was obsessively like going to the vacuums to try to like keep all of the sand and just the dirt, and them were free vacuums, but some of them weren't. And so I was just like, putting quarters. Anyways, I was obsessively trying to keep this thing clean and organized at all times. And I've accepted that as long as it's not dirty, like as long as there's no food, there's no anything out, that it's okay if it's a little bit disorganized. It's a touch disorganized right now, and I want to fix it, but I'm telling myself like that's not important. So that's if you have like OCD issues or issues with okay, my last point, community. This is something that I see a lot of other people touch on, that because of that loneliness that I mentioned earlier, that there's this wanting to seek community. And I feel that as well. I've actually looked at 3 different options for this winter. There's something called woofing, I guess is what it's called, where you can stay on somebody's farm for, 2 weeks, a month, whatever you guys work out. And in exchange for you working so many hours a week, you can have access to their facilities, or sometimes even like a place to stay, like a yurt or something like that. I've looked at different eco villages in the Pacific Northwest, considered that, but there's some more research that I need to do there because there's some pretty conflicting things that I've seen about eco villages. Lastly, I've thought about just heading south to California and spending the coldest of the winter months down there and finding more community, because I know there's a big nomadic community in California. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys. These are some things I've been jotting down, things that I've learned in the last 6 weeks. If there is anything specific that you guys have questions about, I love interacting with you lovely people. So let me know.
This is starting to become more common. People just living in their cars, finding a way, really appreciating the little things like having running water. I mean, she's pretty much got figured out. She's starting to find her community, but it's tough out here for a lot of people. I mean, you're not making 6 figures in the U.S., you're almost bound to be in the same position. If you're going to have at least, 3 or 4 roommates, if you're not financially stable, it's going to start to get tough for a lot of people. If you made it to the end, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and drop a blue heart in the comments. Till next time.